Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your weekly reading for May 26th to the 31st. We're going to the end of the month here, Aquarius. This is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We're going to jump right in, Aquarius. You know, I want to personally welcome you to one of the best weeks of the month and the year. One of the best new moons of the year. I'm so excited for you. Let's jump in. By the way, I say this because, listen, did you see your annual forecast? So we've been waiting for this moment, all right? Think about January, February, March. I talked about this last week. Yeah, just how things are kind of sludgy and confusing and, you know, for the entire year. And now it's like night and day, all right? And it started last week. You know it started last week. And one of the reasons why this is one of the best weeks is because of what happened last week. And you are going to feel that energy from last week. The majority of those aspects were over the weekend. So they spill over into this week, bolstering and supporting this new moon that is in your fifth house. I'm really excited for you. So really want you to know that you are entering this amazing new era. All right. Unbelievable change. Remember Saturn and Neptune and Ceres all moving into Aries, all conjuncting too. And that makes a difference. They're not just in Aries. They're together. Their energies are merging at that 1 degree point of new beginnings in the sign of new beginnings. You're on the brink of it's a really big change. Okay. So if you didn't see last week's reading, by the way, check it out if you want to. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there because that's how you'll really understand the magnitude of this week. Okay, and everything is just syncing up for you. This is an enormously auspicious, feel-good week. And for you, yeah, maybe really like transcendent, right? And we'll get into it. I'll tell you why, because there's some things happening this week where I had to actually triple check. And I was like, is this really Yeah, and I know there's only 3 aspects. Remember the blue asterisk, always the best aspects of the week. And look at this. This is amazing. All right. And they're mighty. Now, Monday, May 26th or the 27th, depending on where you live, the new moon in Gemini, 6 degrees, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is my time, New York City time. Convert that to wherever you live in the world. That's why it's wherever you know, between the 26th, 27th. Now, this is a super moon. So, just, you know, in the simplest way to explain it, it is just orbiting very close to Earth. You are going to feel this. You are going to feel the power. I've talked about the power of the moon. All right. So, it's almost like you being a wind-up toy. All right. You're going to be moved. You're going to feel restless, excited. You're going to be clapping your hands, yipping, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is you do. But listen, this new moon is Mercury ruled. All right. Gemini's ruler. Remember, over the weekend, Mercury moved into Gemini in its home sign. So, why is this a big deal? Well, A, you've got Mercury and Jupiter and the new moon and the sun all in Gemini, right? So, let's just focus on Mercury. Remember what I said about Mercury just real quickly last week. Again, I'm just going to bring up a few things. Mercury is the messenger. Mercury is all about communication. It's business as well, like launching a new business. Mercury, the merchant, mercantile, right? So selling things, business, right? Transactions, things like that. Writing is a big thing with Mercury, okay? Starting a website or learning a class, teaching, starting a business, all of that, launching something new, but also travel. Mercury rules travel, short distance travel. And so Mercury is now in Gemini conjuncting the moon. So you got Mercury and the moon making aspects with all the outer planets. You know what happened last weekend and look at what's happening this week. So Mercury and the moon, they're sextiling Saturn and Neptune in your third house that Mercury rules. So do you see that overlap there of all this third house energy that I just talked about? What? So when I say you're on the brink of brand new, just see, remember, this is just natural progress. Okay. This is a cycle. See how things play out. But the bigger thing, remember what happened over the weekend. Mercury conjuncted Uranus, your ruling planet. What? And you will see Mercury is trining Pluto. What happened over the weekend? We had the sun trine Pluto. You feel that this week. And Pluto is in your sign, Aquarius. So who's really going to feel this week? Who's really going to feel this new moon? You. Gemini's your BFF, fellow air sign, all the air signs. So this is really big. This is enormous, okay? You just can't make this up. When you have Pluto trining the moon, the sun, and Mercury, what? Trines, supportive, harmonious. They bring luck on their own. They make things easy for you. And again, you've got Pluto in your sign. Out of all the signs, Pluto's in your sign. So this new moon, yeah, very optimistic. It's very cheerful and enthusiastic and electric, right? Fun and flirty and adventurous and enterprising. And you're going to feel curious and creative and intellectual. And it's very like collaborative energy here, mingling energy. It is that Gemini energy, networking. You're going to be doing a lot. You're going to do a lot because Pluto natively rules your 10th house. So for a lot of y'all, a lot of career stuff, a lot of career or your reputation, the way that you want to be seen, big. But again, at the end of the day, Pluto's in your sign. It's all about you. Transformation. Also empowerment, right? Now, this is the last of 2 super new moons this year. Remember, I did a live stream, right, on June. June, what you can expect for June. Remember June, the luckiest month of 2025. So check that out. I give you key dates. I tell you some things that I'm not going to tell you in your June forecast that I'm doing next week. Okay, so the new moon, as you know, next month, because I feel like I've told you already, one of the best new moons of the year as well. So you got these 2, they're right on par. The one in June has a very different flavor for you. This one is exciting for you too, like really exciting. So please plant seeds. Okay, that's what you do with new moons. You set intentions, you put wheels in motion. Listen, it's Mercury. You sign contracts, Mercury's agreements, even verbal agreements, and you plan trips. Or Mercury's in mind, you plant mental seeds, right? Remember what I said, curiosity, creativity, right? New things that you want to bring into your life for your path to enlightenment, your karmic journey. And that is the inspired actions you take. So use this, please. This is where you can see great new paths opening up for you. And remember what happened last week. So you already got the keys, all right? All you got to do is... That's all you got to do, all right? And also speak to the moon. Yeah, I said that. Why? Because everything is energy. Speak what you want into existence. As above, so below. That's why we're all here, okay? So, especially the first 3 days where the new moon is really potent, kicking off this new cycle. Okay, everything is cyclical. Now, I did say it's at 6 degrees. It's a mutable degree, all right? Gemini's a mutable sign. It just means adapting to your life is changing. It's that flexibility, adapting. 6 degrees is a Virgo degree. What makes that really just like what is that Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. And so you throw in the fact that we've got about 6, 7 Mercury aspects this week combined with what happened over the weekend and last week. Yeah, you're going to really feel this. Why? Because Mercury, Jupiter, the new moon, all of that in Gemini, that rules your 5th house. 5th house is true love and romance. It's pleasure and joy. It's family. It's children. A lot of y'all having kids, right? This is it, right? This 5th house is procreation. It's sex too, and it's the fun house. That's why I'm so excited for you, Aquarius, right? It's also creativity. It's creative projects. It's self-expression. That's the 5th house. And there is an element of fame in the 5th house as well. Remember what I just said. Pluto natively rules your 10th house of fame, right? Your reputation, all of that. You're set up. You're set up, Aquarius. This is really special, all right? So please be social and network and communicate. And for a lot of y'all, it's just going to happen. Yeah, it's just going to happen, all right? Because all this mercurial energy that I just said, which is communication, you will be getting emails. You will be getting DMs. You will be getting messages on your BlackBerry. Snail mail. Like, you're just going to get stuff from friends, from family, from siblings, from recruiters, from bosses, from neighbors. There's big stuff happening here. Neighbors, especially. Yeah. That's part of the third house. Okay. So, and you've got all this fourth house activity. Remember, a lot of y'all are moving, and yeah, it's so fun. I see your comments, and listen here. It's if not, there's maybe something with real estate on your mind, or property matters, or something that has to do with home. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you are having a kid. Maybe you are building a third room or something. Maybe your uncle's moving in. There's so much fourth house activity, but the fourth house is also the foundations of your life. All right. Now, with this new moon, this is you being on the brink of big ideas and breakthroughs as well as shifts in perspective. And I want that to be a big takeaway for you, Aquarius. All right. Especially when it comes to what brings you pleasure and joy. And I want you to have that moment. All right. Because once again, Mercury is in Gemini with Jupiter. All right. So Jupiter's Jove, king of the gods, who brings luck and good fortune and wisdom, expansion, profit, abundance. This is higher mind. And you've got a stellium in Gemini with Mercury, the sun, Jupiter, and the moon in Gemini, but also Hygeia. Yeah. Hygeia moved into Gemini last week. What? And Sedna. And yeah, I have to do this separate. I'm going to do another video. One of the reasons why, and this is really relevant to you, Aquarius, one of the reasons why we're going to have major changes in 2025 and 26 and 27, 28, all of that, is because of Sedna. Moving into Gemini. Sedna has not been in Gemini since the Ice Age, the last 12,000 years, okay? This is a big deal because what does that mean? Sedna is in Gemini at 0 degrees. All right. And we'll be trining Pluto in your sign for years. So Pluto's new in your sign. Pluto's retrograde right now, meaning Pluto's going to go back to that 1 degree point. So what does this even mean? This means that your life is enormously going to change, and you and Geminis and it's all Aquarius is the collective, right? You're going to see a huge shift in the collective, but you're leading the brigade, Aquarius. The role that you play, I talked about this last week. Anyway, I'll do a separate video, but just remember, I also told you that Jupiter can bring 2 opportunities, 2 paths, Jupiter being in Gemini, the twin, right? So pick the path that brings you joy and faith and expansion and self-belief. Everything that I explained Jupiter is. And I will remind you next month when Jupiter changes signs. Yes, that's why. One of the reasons why June is big. All right? So Jupiter expands. This is going to be amazing for you. So do what brings you joy, because it is a genuinely joyful new moon and it's a major upgrade. Okay. Major shift for you, because again, think about what's happening over the weekend, moving into this week. Okay. Saturn, right? Bringing that stability. Remember, aspecting this new moon, that stability for long-term goals. Neptune, aspecting, bringing in that compassion, ideals, creativity, heightened intuition, your vision. You've got Saturn and Neptune, freshly new in Aries, first time in 320 years. Yeah, you've never experienced this, but they're in Aries. Remember the beginning of the beginning and initiating, pioneering. This is big. In your third house, you see that overlap here? Yeah, I hope you see that overlap. This is big, okay? So Saturn, Neptune, and Ceres, but also Chiron, also Eris, also Venus, all in your third house, the house that Gemini rules, and you got all this activity in Gemini. So again, this will be a big week for you, especially with communication, all right? Or the mind, thinking new, right? What do I want to change? Now, when you build this new path, and you will, I want you to remember your breakthrough. Remember what happened over the weekend, right? Uranus conjuncting Mercury, all right? Uranus, your ruler. That's progress, that's innovations, that's breakthrough. And then Pluto, that's in your sign, empowerment, your truth, this, unstoppable energy, right? Transformation. That's aspecting all week. So again, just go back to last week's reading if you need a reminder, like a refresh, but just going to give you a heads up here so you can plan. And that's why I'm here for you. I want you to take advantage of these. These are enormous. This can change your life. July. Uranus will move into Gemini, your BFF, and will trine Pluto in your sign. So what does that even mean? Starting in July, the entire year, Uranus with Sedna, by the way, you will be having constant breakthroughs. Like, you have no idea how enormously special this year is going to be for you. And again, when you get to 2026, you're going to see the difference between the second half of 2025 and the first half of 2025. Now, what makes this day even more special is that before we even get to the new moon, because it's happening at night, right? On that same day, we have a mini golden triangle with the moon, Pluto, and Ceres, who's freshly new in Aries. You can throw in Neptune too. Sure, Neptune's not far. It's still kind of part of the party, but at 3 degrees. And when I look at this for you, it's like, I don't even know what to say. This is the best, fun, exciting. This is a wonderful mini golden triangle at 3 degrees. So they're perfecting at 3 degrees. I don't make this up. 3 degrees is the Mercury degree, the Gemini degree. And so we'll talk about in the second spread, but yeah, it's going to be a day for you. And a good one, if you are a cross watcher, by the way, if you watch for your rising or your moon, for your husband, your kid, your, pet cactus, everyone is going to feel this. But mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And I'm also throwing in Aries, Libra, Leo, and Aquarius. Yeah, you're going to feel this. All right. If you know your birth chart, your natal chart, if you have planets between 3 to 9 degrees in any of the air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, and I'm going to throw in Leo and Aries again, you'll feel this the most. All right. I will also throw in Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius. It really will have an impact on the mutable signs. Now, so if you have any planets 3 to 9 there. All right. So with this new moon, please ask yourself, where do you want to be 6 months from now for the corresponding full moon in December? I've told you, we talked about this last week, that visualization. Okay. Remember, the full moon, December 2025, right before we move into 2026, which is the year, the Great Reset, year 10. Yeah? I told you what's happening in your birthday season next year. You're going to have a bonkers, bananas birthday year next year. It is off the charts. It's off the charts. Yeah, I'll do that Saturn Neptune video. Yeah, because remember, they're conjuncting at 0 degrees in your birthday season right around Valentine's Day. Yeah, but I'll show you everything. All the planets are going to be in your sign at that time when that happens. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, by the way, I'm an Aquarius too. That's why not only is this a lucky week, I tell you some things that extra than I don't say the other signs. Maybe I do. Anyway, 6 degrees, new moon. Speaking of 6 months, by the way, right? 6, strong energy. 6 is beautiful. 6 is empathy. It's kindness. It's nurturing. It's, harmony. It's intuition. It's a joy bundled new moon. And don't forget, this is the biggest thing of all. It is happening 11 p.m. at night. So with any seeds that you plant, intentions that you set, you want to do it at that time or after. That's different from a full moon, okay? So that time or after, that's when the portal opens, okay? And that's why the next day, Tuesday, May 27th, is a great day to plant seeds as well. Because remember, you've got the sun, moon, and now Mercury trining Pluto in your sign at, you guessed it, 3 degrees. The Gemini degree with a new moon in Gemini. You can't. So this Mercury trine Pluto, by the way, only happens twice a year, and this is so special because Mercury trine Pluto is confidence, it's empowerment, it's feeling that, right? Very transformational. We're talking about Pluto here, but this is you being influential with communication, all right? With conversations, important conversations, Zoom calls that you need to have, whatever it is. You rule technology, by the way, Aquarius. So yeah, that would be relevant for you, especially with Mercury trine Pluto in your sign. Remember, Mercury and Gemini in your 5th house. So there's a lot here that has to do with joy, fun, pleasure, love, romance, family, children, creative projects, creativity, work, career, fame. All right. Partnerships is a big thing this week too. With Mars and Leo still in your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, contracts, legal matters. So with Mercury trine Pluto, will you be signing contracts, agreements? Very likely, very likely. Leases with all this 4th house activity, like the rental stuff, maybe, likely. Very good, high chances. Marriage certificates, yeah. Baby, like there's big things. Okay. Now, this is also you impressing Pluto's empowerment, but there's some authority there too. So impressing like VIPs and bosses and authorities. And again, remember, you already have Saturn and Aries in your 3rd house. So again, doubling down for you here. You have all this power. It's a Mercury trine Pluto is also like power of persuasion. Like you'll be able to, you know what I mean? So anyway, looking at what's going on for you, a lot of like just projects, creative projects, partnerships, contracts, legal matters, money matters as well, business, all of that, LLCs, all of that. Okay. So what I love about Mercury trine Pluto though, is that it is where it's like an aspect where you make new friends or, someone in your life has a very profound impact on you. That's Mercury trine Pluto. Everyone feels this. Remember, Pluto's in your sign, all about the collective, friendships, community, humanity. So you'll feel this. So Pluto trine the moon and the sun and Mercury in your sign, that's just really big. I mean, it's activating your 5th house. It's activating your 3rd house. It's activating so much here. But again, Pluto's in your sign. So what do you want? This is your moment. This is big for you. And again, yeah, a lot of career stuff here. And you'll see a lot more next month in June. A lot of creative stuff. A lot of y'all are getting new jobs, basically. Anyway, so, and maybe even launching your own. Business partners are in the mix here too. Here's the thing. Just expect transformation, personal growth, and opportunities. And yes, it's Mercury trine Pluto, so good news. Maybe good news you've been waiting for since January 29th, 2025, when Mercury conjuncted Pluto in your birthday season, the day after my birthday. Yeah? So, this is big. Remember, Mars was retrograde for a long time. Venus was retrograde. Mercury was retrograde. Everything's direct now. So this is, like I said, things are happening now. And you are going to feel curious and expressive and social and be open-minded to new experiences. All right? Remember, let me remind you, you have Saturn, Neptune, and Ceres, all freshly new in Aries in your 3rd house, Gemini's home, okay? Conjuncting at 0 to 1 degrees of new beginnings and fresh starts. So when I say out with the old, in with the new, please, all right? New path for you right now. 3rd house is highly activated for you. Now, here's the thing, okay? There's always a thing, isn't there? There's a lot of mercurial energy. That's a lot of Mercury. Like I said, 6 to 7 aspects, that's a lot, okay? So, what does that mean? It means you might find, it's just like energy where you can be too chatty or too cerebral or a bit scattered. So try not to overthink things. Don't overanalyze things. Go with the flow with the go. All right. It's very think before you speak kind of energy in some situations. It's a lot of Mercury. All right. And Mercury does rule the nervous system. You'll feel restless. Like, I got things to say. I got things to do. Right. So remember, Mercury, Hermes. So that's all it is. Remember, practice patience. That's all it is. All right. Because if you even throw in Saturn and Neptune and Aries at this point, freshly new, as you enter this brave new world that I talked about, as that visionary, leader, compassionate, leader, hero, role model, all of that. As long as you avoid the lower expressions that I talked about, which is like delusion, confusion, escapism, you're going to be fine. Okay. As long as this energy, because it's a lot of Mercury, can be a little bit like, let's read the room energy, but you're Aquarius. You do. So it's not like, it's more like just, hey, it's there, but y'all are going to be fine. Y'all are Aquarians. Just be mindful. A lot of this is going to be the mindset for you with this so much third house activity and Mercury activity, Aquarius, and you are an air sign and you are the innovative genius, that energy. Like, yeah, there's going to be a shift. So just expect a shift. All right. Now, and it really depends on, wherever you're putting your energy, but it is a very, like I said, transcendent time for you. And I want to remind you, everything is made of energy, and that does include your thoughts, right? That's energy that's forming, and the words that come out of your mouth, right? And the words you write down. Okay. And so please bear that in mind. You want to vibrate at that high frequency, because this is a high frequency week, and we all know how the law of attraction works. So the happiness of your life, Aquarius, it depends on the quality of your thoughts. Who said that? No Googling. No Googling. And this person actually perfectly encapsulates what's really happening right now. You listen, on Thursday and Friday, it's not on the whiteboard. I'm just going to tell you, Aquarius, we will have the moon in Cancer. Great. You're going to have a lot of focus on home and family and loved ones this week. Okay. And health and work and maybe your mom. Here's the one thing. And I talk about this in the June overview, so never mind. I'll skip it. But just know that, remember, I told you already, Ceres is Persephone's mother. So this mother archetype, when I've brought Ceres into your consciousness, tell you Ceres moved into Aries with Saturn and Neptune, that's a big deal. Saturn is the father. You have Ceres, the mother. So this is a big deal, all right? That nurturing, self-care, that's Ceres, right? Linked to Virgo. It's big. It's big. And Ceres will actually square the moon this week. So just bear that in mind. There may be something here about your health, your diet, your nutrition. There may be here about you, self-care. Okay. There may be something here where you don't see eye to eye with a doctor or a vet or a, nutritionist, personal trainer, or maybe it's you, right? It's a square with the moon in Cancer that rules mother. So just listen, if you even have Ceres, this is Ceres square the moon. I want you to ask yourself, Aquarius, do you live near a mother or a maternal figure or, a grandmother, things like that? Is there a reason why you need distance? If so, you probably have Ceres square the moon. You probably have some, but everyone's going to feel this. That's why everyone may feel a little bit of like, okay, there may be a little bit of a squeeze with everything that I mentioned. All right. I did not tell you yet. Juno will square Mars all week. So it may be a female authority figure. It may be your boss. It may be a lot that's happening, but we always talk about the second spread, or we talk about the lunations and the planetoids, asteroids, and, clarifiers too sometimes. Anyway, Thursday to Friday, I love this. You have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Gemini. Mercury, remember, is the planet of the mind, and now is in the heart of the Sun. So I want you to think about that alignment. Aquarius, this is a really big deal. Okay? Yeah, I know that we have a Kazimis. We have Kazimis a couple times a year. But again, why is this one so special is because you have Mercury in its rulership in Gemini with the Sun in Gemini. Don't forget, Jupiter's here too. But this Kazimi's at 9 degrees. And so that's why I say Thursday, the 29th, and Friday, because you feel it strongly on the 29th. And they perfect on the 30th on Friday at 9 degrees. And that's when you really feel it. Okay? Now, 9 degrees, another mutable degree. It's a Sagittarius degree, all right? Why is that a big deal? Because you're working with a lot of mutable energy. You're adopted. Things are changing. Secondly, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. And this All of this is in the first decan of Gemini. What does that even mean, right? Just the big takeaway. Jupiter and Mercury, both in Gemini, are going to be really, really, really strong. All right? It's amazing. So, this is clarity. That's a Kazemi. This is clarity, reset of the mind. All right? With Mercury. It's almost like, it's very Ace of Swords. It's like a wake-up call, too, especially since you're still feeling Mercury conjunct Uranus from last week or what developed from that. And so if there is any buildup up here, Aquarius, this Kazemi is clearing the decks for this new 0.0, right? 2.0, Aquarius 2.0, all of that. Anyway, you will feel like that girl that's in that show on Netflix, that chess player. What is that? The Gambit or something? This is great. And this entire week is a ramp up to June. Again, luckiest month. I'm excited for June, and I want you to get really excited for June. There are some things happening in June. Whew. I tell you, Mars is moving into Virgo. Oh, just wait for that. When Mars sextiles Jupiter, just wait for that. What's happening with Virgo right now is your 8th house. Money. Relationships. You're building toward that. Anyway, let's get started. Let's see what's going on for you. All right. For Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for May 26th to the end of the month. All right. Aquarius. Listen, hey, how are y'all doing? I do a traditional occultic raw spread. Offers the best overview. If we need to pull clarifiers, you know that we will. It's a great spread for a weekly reading. Aquarius, you know I love y'all. Y'all crack me up. By the way, I told you Juno is going to square Mars, right? So all week, yeah, there may be something there with career. We'll talk about in the second spread. And I did not tell you that. I'm going to tell you why this is going to be one of the best weekends for you too in the second spread, but let's get to it. Especially if you are here for love, relationships, partnerships, career, love. There's one more thing. I'm just going to tell you this because you may actually think this is a big thing. All right. So on Sunday, if you want to write this in your calendar, this is going to be a big weekend for relationships for you. And it doesn't matter what type. And a big weekend for money. Why? Because on June 1st, and I talk about this in that June astrology overview. Again, I'll leave it at the end of the video. I talk a lot more about it. I'm just going to tell you very briefly. We have something that we have not seen in a really long time. We have a triple conjunction with Venus, Chiron, and Eris. Yeah? Perfecting at 25 degrees. So basically, you have a triple conjunction here. Yeah? All in Aries. Remember, you've got Saturn there. You've got Neptune there. There's so much happening in that Aries area of your chart. And so what does this mean? I mean, again, just look at that. It's money. It's love. It's relationships. It's former lovers. It's old wounds. It's also like creative projects. All of that. Okay? Siblings. Let's get started. Whoa, Aquarius. Yeah, this is going to be a week where, you could see, I did an extra card for you. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, yeah, you're going to have to get out of your head about some stuff. But the good news is you are. All right. Let's get started. You're going to be fine. You're going to be good. You're going to be great. You got the Knight of Wands here. Okay, great. As you move into this week, that fearless, just go after what you want. This is such a fun, adventurous feeling. That spirit of like, I'm going after my passions. I'm going after my ambitions. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm on a mission to transform my life. It's one. So a lot of this is going to be career related for you. A lot of this is just going to be your passions. It's going to be a lot of creative energy. You're going to feel that creative drive as you move into this week. And I told you that third house is travel. While you're out traveling, I said Jupiter is really active. Jupiter is, rules your ninth. So yeah, big thing, big, but just keep going after what you want. And then when you get there, 10 of Swords and the heart of your spread. Now, when you see this, you're like, okay. It's the end. 10 is the end of the suit. 10 is, look, I think that I think we talked about this last week. I hope you saw your spread last week. Like, you're on a new journey anyway, right? Everything's changing for you anyway. I think I told you that outside of the sun card, the sun is like optimism, the biggest yes in tarot. It only appears in a few cards, right? And you got a couple last week, and you got it here too. So when I say this is the end, it is the end. This is the card, the card of new dawn. Yeah. So the sun is coming out as a dark clouds clear. And so you see all these swords piercing this young man. It is, remember what I said, everything is cyclical. This is the end of a cycle. And so what did I say with that Kazemi? That's going to be extremely powerful. That reset, that refresh of the mind. That's what swords are, of the mind. Yeah. So have that moment of that reset, because there's got to be something here this week where if something has been really taking up a lot of headspace, or really feeling like, that scattered energy that, I was talking about, well, now we're putting it to bed. However, you are learning. So the purpose of this card is to learn before you move into that next journey, that new path, that new era that I said you are on, especially with a new moon, new beginnings. Look at his hand gesture. It is the same hand gesture as the Hierophant, as a philanthropic man in the Six of Pentacles. It's that blessings. So this was meant to happen for you to learn from something. You were supposed to learn something here. And you can't continue your journey until you actually learn. That's what karma is. That's why we say karmic cycles. So whatever that is up here, let's put it to bed. That's what this is saying. You got something coming out in the horizon here, but you've got to learn from whatever it was. All right. And that's going to bring you this amazing. Anyway, three of cups, your challenge area. So two things here. One, it does seem like there is something where three is also like beginnings as well. Three is all about advancement and learning. Remember, I told you about 3 degrees anyway, being curious, but it's advancement, it's growth. It's also the birth of new things. It's creation. Same thing with that Gemini energy, right? That rules the 3rd house. That is the 3 degree of Gemini, right? Of Mercury, which, what did I say? Learning new things, starting new things. So same thing here. It is in your challenge area. Do you know what you want? Right? Do you know what you want? You have to clear that energy, right? Before you move forward. Okay. Secondly, it does feel like there may be some things here with other people involved. And I'm getting really strong family energy. You got a lot of family stuff happening anyway, that let's see eye to eye here on something. Okay. Another thing that's coming through is like, if you are launching something new, remember, this is just saying we may have to tweak a couple things. Yeah. That's all. All right. And maybe let's launch it, but there's still some things we may have to, tweak about it, that it's not something that you have to think about. It's just something may come up and you're like, oh, okay, we got to adjust this. All right. Remember, this is just a weekly reading. So there's a little bit of adjustments here, and that's really it. Okay. But it does feel like other people are involved because you also have the 5 of Wands in your crown. So let's see eye to eye with people. Okay. That's all it is. And partnerships, relationships, really big thing here. Yeah. Because 5 of Wands is actually attributed to Mars and Leo. Remember, you got Mars and Leo in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships anyway. And this card, remember what I said, that lower expression of Mars and Leo is ego, is competitive energy. It's pride. That's what this card is. It's these kids swinging their wands in the air. They're like, right? And so it is a challenge card, but they're kids. So it's like not worth your time energy. It's, what did I say? Let's make room up here. Okay. But yeah, there can be something where you may not see eye to eye with some people, and someone's got to rise above. That's going to be you. Okay. Because you always want to be the best person in a situation. What did I just say about karmic cycles, right? You always want to be the better person. Remember how we went through the Mercury square Mars, Mercury square Pluto? I said that's a lot of like not seeing eye to eye. It's a lot of troll energy. It's a lot of ego energy. It's a lot of people coming after you. I mean, you probably felt it. Everybody felt it, right? But Mercury squared Pluto in your sign. So of course, yeah, you would feel that. And the fact that Mercury was in Taurus at that time, for some, that was, so maybe it could have been some stuff. But how did you respond? How did you respond? Okay. If they came at you really hard and you went back at them really hard, did that solve anything? But if you were just like, okay, thank you. They take that time realizing, I was really. So I hope you understand how like karma works, but look. You got the Three of Swords too. So I did talk about partnerships, relationships, or maybe something that where you will have this emotional impact, especially with partnerships, relationships, or family keeps coming up. Family keeps coming up, siblings. It could be neighbors too. It could be just something that you are experiencing this week where it's a lot of endings here for new beginnings, where you have the King of Cups in your future who is so content. He's full of self-love, so much love to give. He's a king. He's a big leader, and he's that compassionate leader. I told you what's happening for you last week. And this is really great because he's satisfied. Yeah. A lot of creative energy you've got a lot of creative stuff. So it's almost like even people seeing you as having that vision, but he's also very intuitive. He's the rock for other people. Remember, that's even Ceres, right? What did I say? Self-care, self-nurturing. For you to be strong enough to support others, people are going to come to you. They're going to be seeking that leadership from you. But this is just also emotional stability that feels really good. A lot of career stuff here, by the way. A lot of career stuff here. It seems like some things are ending for new beginnings. Okay. King of Cups even is Scorpio, by the way. Let's get to your stuff. Aquarius, big endings, new beginnings. If you like this reading, it would be great if you like, subscribe, leave comments. Tell me what's going on. I know I'm losing my voice, and it's also like the end of the day. So I'm just... by the way, I showed you my Venus flytrap. I was going to name it Venus. Do you have a better name? Leave it in the comments. It's your creative week, but I guess mine too. Anyway, I love y'all. Let's see what's going on. You know what I'm going to say. Do you need me to say it? You just need to get through this. Remember, the biggest thing here is some karmic lesson. That's the biggest thing. There's something that you went through where it could have been, but there was a reason why, right? Because when you go through those challenges, when you learn from it, you grow, right? And that's why you never have to go through that cycle again. When you learn from it, if you don't learn from certain cycles in the past, you're going to be in that loop. You're going to be stuck in that loop, in the hamster wheel. So as long as you learn from it, you're done. You're done. All right. But anyway, you're good. You're absolutely good. I'm going to see that. We'll look at that later, but you got the Lovers. Of course you got the Lovers. I told you got partnership, relationship activity. A lot of y'all want it. And this is the time to plant those seeds. Okay. When you have a new moon in your 5th house of true love, when you have Mars in Leo, Mars libido, right? And Leo in your 7th house of partnerships, relationships. Yeah. A lot of y'all are going to be getting married, want to get married, or, go steady with someone. There's so much here. But again, remember, you have so much career stuff. This can be career. It can be partnerships, business partners. It can be platonic. It can be a family member, whatever resonates with you. This is just so much depth with the Lovers. And it is a Gemini card. This card is attributed to Gemini. So at the end of the day, this is all your choice. Even, look, let's call them Adam and Eve. You see Adam looking at Eve, Eve looking at Archangel Raphael here, right? That's conscious, super conscious, subconscious. It's like Trinity at play. That's you. It's your spirituality. It's like, what do you want? You can even, if you want to think mind, body, spirit, that's fine too. This, you're good. You're good because you also got the star. How crazy. The biggest players this week, right? Gemini and Aquarius. And you got your card, Aquarius, and the Gemini card. So Aquarius, you got the star in your external factors area. This is everything aligning for you. This is wisdom. This is self-belief. This is even something new. Yeah. Because the star comes after the tower, and the tower is when like there's something's, but then this is that healing that comes after. And so you even see it resonating here. You're fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be good. This is giving you a lot of strength. Look, 8-pointed star, right? Or stars. And they're all 8-pointed with 8 stars. And it's card 17. 1 plus 7 equals 8. So it references the strength card. So that strength, that empowerment that I was talking about, yeah? With Pluto in your sign being active all week and aspected, but at the same time, Mars in Leo is a big thing for you right now, okay? Mars brings you strength. Mars is active too. And so partnerships, relationships, legal matters, contracts, all that 7th house activity really activated. But this is just your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, everything aligning. Even, I feel like you got this recently too. Look at the water bearer. Look at, right? Pouring onto the land too. So you see that fertility, that growth, everything growing in your world that you want to build for yourself. You see both of them not wearing any clothes here. Yeah. There's that freeness, that freedom, that expression, that self-expression. You get to be who you are. There's no care in the world. This is you in your purest form. You're going to be fine. And remember what I said, it looks like for some of you, yeah, look at this. There's, yeah. When I say you're going to be powerful, influential, impressive, impressing others, that too. So we're someone opening doors for you for sure. 2 of Wands. Great. Get moving. Do your thing. 2 of Wands actually attributed to Mars and Aries. Remember, you got all that Aries energy. So that leadership energy. Look at, he's got the world in his hand. Yeah. Standing at the highest point in the castle. So there is a sense of like achievement here. Okay. And there is also what comes next. So I've started something. There's something new happening. Something new's begun. Plan. You got a great view. You got a great view of the next 6 months. So plan. And then the High Priestess, trust yourself. That's it. Whatever happens this week, listen, Pluto is what I said, natively ruling Scorpio, which is such a highly intuitive sign. And there you go with the high priestess, which is also, she's associated with the moon, which is intuition. I said the moon is going to be very active this week with a new moon in Gemini, and then the moon goes into its rulership of Cancer. So trust your intuition, be in touch with your emotions. The high priestess is the guardian of the subconscious. Don't be afraid to go deep. You even see the sliver of the moon at her feet, right? And even in her headdress, the, phases of the moon. Don't be afraid to go deep. And I feel like whatever happens this week, it's going to be very helpful for you, okay? Because when you trust your intuition, you're invincible, okay? You don't have self-doubt. You trust. This is having faith in yourself. What I say about Jupiter being very active, Jupiter is faith and belief and self-belief. That's what this is. When you trust your intuition, you have all that faith. You know everything is going to work out. You have no self-doubt. All of it comes to some sort of end. And for a lot of y'all, it can definitely be with that 3 of Swords here. Yeah, there's really something here where it can be a little bit heartbreaking, as in, this is it. This is the end. I, spent so much time here, maybe 2 years, 3 years with Saturn and Pisces in your 10th house. You're moving on to something new and different. And so it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday, right? Yeah, I did quote Boys to Men. Mm-hmm. But everything that you've worked hard for, that maybe you didn't think would ever change, but you saw these opportunities come through for something new. That could be it. All right. Let's do this. You saw your last week's reading. You're good. Step into your power. You've got so much power. The Emperor is Aries. Let me just show you. Okay. You see the rams in his throne? You saw your last week's reading. You can't even, you're good. You're fine. When the Emperor comes up again, right? Who's Aries? What I say, you got about 6 heavenly bodies in Aries right now. Everything that began for you, right? That big wave that was in Aries energy since mid-March, pushing you into your power right here. As a clarifier for the entire spread, you have so much power. Pluto is power. It's in your sign. And it has all these amazingly auspicious aspects this week. But you've got to use it. You've got to use it. All right? You got the only 2 cards in all of tarot, by the way. Where they have the world in their hand. You can have whatever you want. Okay. So let's okay. Aquarius, thanks so much. Yeah. Second spread. We're going to go deep. We'll do a spread just on the new moon. We'll isolate it. Okay. Because this is a big week. We will talk about Juno squaring Mars. Juno happens to be all about partnerships and relationships. And remember, Juno is in Scorpio in your 10th house. So a lot of this may have to do with career or fame, but don't forget, you got Mars and Leo in your 7th house. And then you've got this new moon and Mercury and the sun and Jupiter in your 5th house. So yeah, it can be love too. But either way, what a big week. What a big week. And yeah, I'll tell you about the grand, the golden triangle we have. Oh, and then, all this moon and Cancer energy. Oh, and the weekend. Yeah. You got some big partnership stuff. Anyway, tier 3 members, you know where to find the link. Anyone's welcome to join. If you like this reading, would be great if you like, subscribe, leave comments. Aquarius, y'all are amazing. Next week, you know what we're going to do, right? So you're good here. You're fine. You're absolutely good. All you have to just trust your intuition on this. And just, there is something that it's almost like I say, out with the old, in with the new, but let's learn from anything, even if it was challenging, so we can move into this next cycle. And in the second spread, yeah, I will clarify that 10 of swords. I will see you next week, Aquarius. Love you. Bye.